Hey guys, Repositioning here, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be going over my thoughts, your thoughts of the poll I put up for the Gunlance the other day. So yeah, let's get into it. Now I've been using the Gunlance ever since 3U. The Gunlance has always been an interesting weapon to me. I remember back in Try actually there was a weapon which looked like a Gunlance, but it was actually categorized as a lance because the Gunlance wasn't in Try, but in 3U when they brought in the Gunlance, it was one of my favorite weapons to use in the game. It was fantastic. I feel like that's probably one of the strongest iterations actually of the weapon. I don't know, in the game it never felt weak to me. Maybe it was because I was quite new to Monster Hunter, but it just felt really good. I really enjoyed the Gunlance in that game. I used it in 4U, I used it a lot in GU. Even though people say that GU is kind of weak, I still love using it. So I just have fun using it. I used it in World back on when I used to play on Xbox back on base World. And I use it quite a bit in Rise and Sunbreak as well. So I actually categorize it as my secondary. And I'm looking forward to using it in Wilds. Well, enough of that. Let's get into the poll. Alright guys, and you can see here the question of today is, Gunlance users, what did you think about the weapon in the Wilds beta? As of this video, with 176 votes, 75% saying I love it, 24% saying I like it, 1% saying I didn't like it, and 0% saying I hate it. And this is the most liked one, or most loved one, out of any of the ones so far, and I think it's probably going to be the most loved out of any that we do in the future. It's quite interesting that they have one dislike here, 1%. I don't know what the dislike would be, so if you do have a dislike, I would love if you could say it down in the comments down below so we can all kind of understand what you didn't like about the weapon. But this kind of seems like in line of what I expected, so let's get into the comments and see what people thought overall. Well, why don't we start with C-Lock Forgotten 2311, and he says, man, it feels so good. Besides the obvious fantastic full burst combo, what really makes me happy are the guard points on reload and follow up on perfect block. An issue I had with the Gunlance in the past is that every time I had to block or evade an attack, it would completely break your combat flow. In your traditional rotation, the strong attacks were late in the combo, 3 shell burst or 4 wide sweep. Fighting fast monsters, you often couldn't get far enough into your combo before getting attacked again, unless you accepted trading blows because 3 and 4 had terrible recovery. But now, not only can you enter the classic combo on attack 2 slam after a perfect block, you also can recover much faster after attacking with reloading. Now it feels like you can blast the monsters to shreds with relentless, devastating attacks. I'm in love. Now this is a great comment actually. I haven't seen many people actually talk about the Gunlance in its gameplay overall like that, the flow of combat. With a weapon like a Gunlance, you're always trying to figure out what's the fastest way to get to my biggest combos, my biggest moves. Depending on what style you're using, of course. If you're using like long style, you don't really think about that, and maybe that's just kind of the case of using normal style. Maybe so like this is due to using normal style mostly. So myself, I never really found this too much of an issue because I normally use long style with Gunlances in the past. So at least in the games I use it the most in, like GU, which is the most I use the Gunlance, probably like 700, 800 times if using that game. On hunts, I'd focus more on poking and shooting every now and then my rifle blast. And same with wide, quite similar with charged shots as well. But definitely normal style in that game, World or Rise, yeah, you're right. The biggest moves come with the biggest combos, and it's just too laggy. It's way too laggy to get there, so you have to really figure out how to get there fastest. And when you're fighting fast monsters, let's say Rajang for example, he's fast but brutally strong, it can be difficult to find the openings to really lay out your strongest moves and feel safe at the same time. But to be honest, I guess the question is really, is that good game balance actually? Shouldn't your strongest moves be a bit more laggy? Maybe, but maybe in a Gunlance situation, even though it's their stronger moves, they are still vital parts of the kit. The weapon lacking in its movement and options when it comes to mobility maybe makes up for that fact that now that we're able to get into our strongest combos faster, it's actually fair enough. So yeah, no, very good comment, I appreciate that. Okay, next we got Clever Calcifer, and they say, as a Gunlance main with over 800 hours across GU, World and Rise, I can safely say that Gunlance reached its peak in Rise, and this is awesome to see because it is a great improvement to the World Gunlance. I was going to comment some tips, but the others have already done that. I'll just give them a like so that you can see those comments. I still think the Gunlance plus Hunting Horn is going to be a great combo since Hunting Horn buffs stay after weapon swapping, and Gunlance shells are finally influenced by normal attack ups and buffs other than artillery and sneak attack. One thing he says here is reached its peak in Rise. Did he mean in Wilds? I'm guessing he meant in Wilds, but probably just a spelling mistake here. That's cool. The Gunlance feels heavier. And the new changes to the shelling and what they're affected by is awesome. The Gunlance mains will finally not be mitigated by shelling level as much as before. There are some changes to the buttons and what they do that just doesn't sit well with me. For example, the new Wyvern Stake full burst combo always ends with a Wyvern Stake despite any button press is bad in my opinion. I also found that mid combo pressing B will reload instead of Wyvern Stake, which is weird. Prefer guard plus B to quick reload mid combo and have options to Wyvern Stake or not, like in Rise. P.S. The Eruption Cannon better be back when the DLC of Wilds comes out. Eruption Cannon over Wyvern Stake Cannon 100%. Yeah, the Eruption Cannon was pretty damn cool. I can't lie, having really fast and pretty strong shot like that was quite nice. I really did enjoy it myself. Now, as he says, he wants to highlight other comments, which we'll get to, so don't worry about that, Klausifer. We'll get there in the end. I'm going through every comment here. But one thing that you talk about that I actually noticed myself and I didn't want to bring up is the Wyvern Stake full combo. It's a bit weird because it kind of feels like it's on autopilot. Like once you start pressing B, I think you press it twice, it does like the whole combo or something once you initiate combo. So you kind of feel like you're locked into it, which is, I mean, fine, but I feel like maybe you should be pressing more buttons in the combo so you can either do the combo or stop or go through another route. And like he says, it feels like you're locked into Wyvern Stake no matter what you press, which is, yes, it's true. I also noticed that even though the combo is really cool and it's nice to see, it's also a bit weird that is the case with the combo. So yeah, I guess if you commit to it, even though it has guards in some points, you have some guard points on some parts of the move, you're committed, it's quite laggy. Maybe the monster might hit you from behind or the side, so be careful. There's also a focus mode, so you can turn around, which is pretty cool, I suppose, while you're doing it, but even then, you still have to watch out. And yes, shelling level has been a big issue with Gunlance throughout pretty much every iteration of it. It doesn't matter. In the end, there's just so many skills that affect attack and your actual normal hits, so your normal hits just do more damage in the end. It doesn't matter, your shells just become irrelevant towards the end of parts of the game. So in pretty much every game, at least I played Gunlance, I used it less near the end of the game. In GU, I used Gunlance so much in low rank, in high rank, and then in G rank, not so much because monsters get a bit stronger, you know, your weapons get stronger. And the shell levels increase of damage doesn't justify the weapons as much, so it's just better just to attack normally. At that point, I might as well just play another weapon. So yeah, I'm glad that it seems like they're fixing that, which is awesome. It's great to see. But alright, on to the next comment. And here once again we got DD Viking. Thanks for another comment, I appreciate it. And they say, so much fun. The fact that you can reposition with your shells is just the fluidity the Gunlance needed. And a long combo where you unload all of your shells with guard points and Wyvern Stakes feels so incredible to pull off. And yeah, you're damn right there. It feels awesome. Honestly, that full combo does feel so nice. It's very stylish, it's very cool. And I can't wait to see the applications of it with skills and so on, and just doing it against monsters. It feels so nice to have attacks where even though they're long lasting, there's some guarding within those attacks as well. So it kind of feels like a more flow of you attacking the monster, they're attacking you, and you kind of have to figure out how you can get these guard points in your combos so you can attack them at the same time while defending yourself. But obviously timing is key, right? You need to actually be able to time things correctly because there's not a guard in every point of the combo. I think there's 2 guards within that combo, so you need to really time it correctly. Timing is key in this situation. Timing is just key. I also want to talk about the repositioning with the swords, like you mentioned, and I think it's an awesome thing that they added. It doesn't make too much sense to me, I guess, in practicality how that works, but that doesn't matter. In gameplay wise, it's cool. It's really cool. It brings out a nice flow in the gameplay. Moving to the side and just trying to reposition slightly with a shot, that would be cool. Repositioning while shooting, that's just an awesome idea, to be honest. It's not something that I think anyone ever thought of while playing Gunlance, so they did a really good job here. So I'm really happy, just like DD Viking. So yeah, thanks for the comment. Alright, and here we are with Yak Butter once again. Thanks for the comment, my guy. And they say, focus strikes need changes desperately. You'd expect it to be an offensive monster, but it just never gets the distance you need. A mission just leaves you awkwardly standing there forever. Cool move, but horrible functionality. Now, I don't think he meant an offensive monster, I think he meant an offensive move, but I have to agree. A lot of the focus strikes actually, they do feel a bit awkward, but I think that's the point, I suppose, when it comes to if you miss it, you are standing there awkwardly because it's like punishment for mission. But the Gunlance one specifically is a bit strange because, yeah, it's cool, but using it is strange. When you use it, it goes on for a bit too long. Even if there's not a focus strike that you're hitting, it still kind of is active. For most other ones, if you don't hit a focus strike, the next part don't trigger. But with the Gunlance one, it keeps triggering. It keeps trying to, you know, drill into the monster and find that spot. And then when it finds it, I mean, yeah, if the monster flinches, then cool, you can do a move. It's a long lasting move, you can get off. But if they don't flinch, you're kind of stuck and kind of in trouble because you won't be able to actually, you know, do much with the move because it's such a long lasting and laggy move. But it is nice when you pull it off. So I think they definitely need some fixes around focus strikes. So I do appreciate that. But then they move on to say, otherwise, it's great. Shelling especially got a great overhaul, and the new attacks all feel great to use, and an improvement in flair. Wyvern Fire is much more fun too, in my opinion. The range it grants allows it to fill a plausible niche in the kit, despite the loss of the Wyvern Stake Blast. Overall, Gunlance flow is fun and fluid, more so than ever. I'm sad to see the Wyvern Stake Blast not make a return, but shelling has been upgraded substantially in other means, so I don't mind too much. I'd say I like it a lot. This makes me feel secure about its position in wilds, since this is the only beta, and improvements are to be made. Yeah, now this is a really good comment. I really like what you talk about the shelling. Yeah, the shelling is so much better, and it's cool that you talk about the Wyvern Fire, because Wyvern Fire range is cool. Like, I never thought it would be this long, but it's this long now, so I like it. I have to say, I do miss the fact that in Rise you could block while doing it. That was a cool addition, and I do like that, and I think it actually makes sense with such a long-lasting move. Definitely now that they've added guarding in the kit itself, it kind of feels like, okay, well, you should be able to guard while doing your Wyvern Blast, right? But maybe this is like a balance thing, because they have guards within the moves. They don't want guard here. I don't know. I would have liked it still, but they didn't bring it back, so I'm fine with it. But yeah, you're right. Very fluid, fun, cool weapon. I really like it. Everyone's just saying good stuff about the Gunlance. I haven't seen a single bad comment. We've seen like some little things that people aren't fixing, but that's, you know, that's normal and that's cool. So yeah, thanks Jabba, I appreciate the comment. And now let's move on to Game Cavalier 3230, one of my long-lasting subs, and he's very active in the Discord as well, so thanks for that game. And he says, isn't it obvious? Wild's Gunlance is unbelievably amazing. And yeah, he's right. I haven't seen anyone say anything negative really in the comments here or in the poll, the poll results. I think this is the one that had the most loves. And everyone I've seen online in videos, everyone just seems to love the Gunlance. So I think everyone's really happy. Now, yeah, there might be some little things that people are nitpicking that they don't like, which is perfectly fine. We all have our little gripes about certain stuff. So that's fine. But overall, everyone's loving the weapon, because I think they've done a great job with the weapon. They've done so much in this game. They help this weapon out, and it's very exciting to see what this game is going to do for this weapon, and the skills and the different gun launches, and how it's going to be overall fighting different monsters with different gun launches. I can't wait to find it out. I can't wait to feel that experience. Now, one thing that Game Cavalier was talking to me about was, he was telling me I better not call this episode success or failure, because there's no failure with the gun launch. I should call it something like success or greater success or something like that, because yeah, maybe he's right. I mean, so far, just looking at these comments and the poll, no one's saying anything really negative, so maybe Gunlance is just success right now. It's the best iteration of Gunlance we're ever going to see. Well, maybe not ever going to see, but it's the best we've seen so far. But yeah, thanks game, I appreciate it. And next we got Castle Krognagzerb, interesting name, and his image seems to be a castle. He's living up to the law. Anyway, Gunlance has been my secondary weapon for a while now. I love how the weapon felt during the beta. They finally seem to have corrected the identity issue the weapon has had in the past few games, where the meta included too much of Lance and not enough boom. The Slap Lance playstyle didn't match with the power fantasy of the weapon, and the devs finally seem to have realized this. The real draw to the Gunlance over the Lance is the gun part, and they've leaned into it in such an amazing way for Wilds. The additional combo after the wide sweep with 2 full bursts is fun and satisfying. The low to minimal sharpness loss for shelling itself is an amazing quality of life change that makes shelling worth it. The fact that Wyvern Fire refills from shelling promotes an engaging combat loop. And finally, they've reportedly fixed the late game shelling scaling issue present in previous games, so shelling remains a valid playstyle into the endgame. Rubicon is feasting, and so are the rest of us. I can't wait to see how other shelling types feel now. And yeah, great comment Castle, appreciate this. And you're right, the whole point of the gun lance is the gun. It's to add in the gun with the lance. It's not supposed to just be a lance. So playing slap lance and focusing mostly on the lance part of it, it's always felt a bit boring, because at that point I'd rather just use the lance, right? So they finally got to that point where the gun portion of the weapon is matching the lance. Now I think they did a really good job with that in Rise, but here they've done it so much better in Wilds, with the balance between both. But one thing I do disagree with here, and I know that I might get some flack about this, I don't like the fact that they've removed shelling sharpness loss, because I think that actually makes sense, right? You're attacking, you should lose sharpness. I think not losing sharpness makes it a bit too strong. Maybe if they just reduced how much sharpness you lost or something, I would have been fine with that, but just removing it altogether just feels a bit strange to me. I guess that's the way they want to go, and I will have to accept it. Yeah, that's just a little complaint of my part, a little nitpick. Let me know what you think down below in the comments about that. But I do agree when it comes to the Wyvern Fire and the promotion of shelling for the engaging combo loop. Like, it's just cool. It just makes a lot of sense, right? So now you want to use your shelling much more, so Wyvern Fire will feel faster, so you can just keep on using the flow of that and it's just going to improve your gameplay overall. Now I think there was something like that back in GU. I can't remember. I think I've heard something like this before, but I don't know which game. But no, it's really good. It's really good, and I also can't wait to see how other shelling types are going to feel. Like, it's going to be new shelling types, or is it still going to be long and wide to go along with normal? Who knows? It's going to be super interesting though, and I can't wait to play. And next we got Honey Konav 4027. Thanks for another comment, my guy. Let's see what you have to say here, and it's a long ass comment, so yeah, let's get through this. Hell yeah. So I saw the post, but I was trying to collect my thoughts. Decided to mess around with my World Gunlance, which is wild style. But one thing that really got me sold on Wild's Gunlance is how fluid the full burst combo is, but also how it unpacks everything. And I mean everything, all shells and the Wyvern Stake twice. And you can end the combo with Wyvern Fire. Speaking of Wyvern Fire, I do find it cool that I can combo it as a counter after a block. Plus having 2 opportunities to Wyvern Fire, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I was under the impression doing the combos helped Wyvern Fire refresh faster. No, just like Castle said, it seems like, yeah, it does refresh it faster, which is really cool. It is adding to the actual combat of the Gunlance, which I really do like. You can pretty much find a nice corner to hug the monster and then unload all of your shells and stakes while strafing them in focus mode. The fact that you can full burst your charge shells now and guard points upon reload. I do prefer when Gunlance is tanky and turret-like, but the fact that you're tanky and turret-like with fluid unload combos is great. I love it. There is a weakness though, and that is the focus strike. But that's fine. It's a unique focus strike that I found best used either pressed against the monster's body, aiming for the lower wounds, or like in the case of Dustry Guma, being one of the best strikes to run him over like a goddamn drilling water tank. It is slow, so I did find it had a harder time catching the weak spots of Balahawa and Raidao, but it was great catching stockier monsters off guard like Chachakabra and Dustry Guma. Overall, I love Wild's Gunlance. It's sturdy, dynamic, and behind Charles Blade is my second choice for my main weapon. Thanks for that, Honey. Yeah, I agree with everything you say here. It's amazing that you can unload everything like that. Actually, I think it's kind of a nod to that full unload burst in Rise, that switch skill, Silkbind skill, which is crazy. It uses 2 Y-bugs and you can just unload everything. People love that full burst move. It was pretty insane. So I definitely think it's a nod to that. And also, I do very much agree with the focus strike we talked about earlier. I think Yap Butter was the one who talked about that. Yes, the focus strike has a problem, but I guess maybe, you know, everything needs a weakness, so that's the weakness in the weapon. It does feel cool. Like you said, you feel like a drill, like you feel like a tank, just walking up to them slowly with this thing, just pressing the monster down. So I'm quite happy with it overall, and I can't wait to use the weapon more within the game. Then lastly here, we have once again a Velvet Aura, and they say, I love Gunlance here, but my biggest complaint isn't even the weapon itself. It's just that they didn't give the lance anything, so it feels kinda unbalanced to me. Damn. No matter where I am, someone always has to talk about the lance, and yeah, that's because I'm a lance main and I've done many videos focused on the lance, so I understand it. I understand your complaint. Although this isn't a lance video, I will say I do think they did give the lance quite a bit, but what they gave it might not resonate with you, might not resonate with me in some instances, and with other people. But Lance will get its due to come, so I won't talk too much about this. But as you can see, out of all of these posts we've seen so far, this one has the most likes and it has the most replies, with 5 replies, which I won't delve into, but I'll show on screen right now if you guys want to talk about it. I'm gonna leave this one and bring it into the Lance video because I guess it's interesting that even Gunlance players are also thinking about the Lance as well. So yeah, it is what it is. But thanks, Velvet. Hopefully the Lance gets what you need from it, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Well, thanks for everyone who commented down below. Now, onto my thoughts of the weapon. I think the weapon in Wilds is amazing. Honestly, I don't think there's actually many issues with the weapon at all. I think it works well. I think the shots are great. The shots to reposition don't move you too much, as I thought it would when I saw the overview, the weapon overview. But I don't think it needs to. It's more of just little movements and adjustments within combat. Some micro adjustments to move you maybe to the side to dodge something, or maybe to position yourself correctly so you can move and hit at the same time. I don't know if evade distance is going to improve that. We have to wait and see. If it does, that'd be great. I like pretty much every aspect of the weapon, apart from, it's not like I don't like the focus strike. I just think like the focus strike has a bit of issues, and I hope they fix it. I've talked about it quite a lot in this video already. It's a bit slow. using it on a monster, a lot of times it feels like it's hard to hit. Definitely the monster's moving about, it's hard to really zone in on that strike because you don't get enough time to really drill down on it. Maybe with Gunlance, it's just more of a thing that you need to really be careful of when you use your focus strike compared to other weapons, because some other weapons have much faster focus strikes over the Gunlance, which is just the case. I guess it's just the case. Now, the full combo. A lot of people have talked about full combo in this video, and I also agree, the full combo is great. I love the full combo. It's gotten some of my friends interested in Gunlance for the first time. I loved using it in the demo. It was really fun. But the only issue I had with it, like I said, it did feel like you get locked into it too much. But I think that's just a case of it. I literally think I only pressed the button twice, the B button on my Pro Controller, and it did the whole combo. There was no like dodging, there was no like stopping. So you have to really be careful. And if you want to get into the final moments of the move, make sure you're ready. Don't press the buttons too much. Just time it correctly, because the blocks don't last too long. It's quite a fast move, which is surprising for a Gunlance, right? You don't expect it to be that fast, but now the Gunlance is fast. The charge shots, not many people talked about the charge shots. I think the charge shots are cool. I don't use them too much in my actual gameplay itself. I wonder when I'm using wide style, will I use it more? Because normally charge shots are for wide. Well, it depends on the game. They always change it, don't they? I think in World it was long that was better wide, but in GU it was wide that was better charge, and I think it was the same in Rise, and I think it was the same in 3U. So I don't know why they keep changing it all the time. Just stick to the same, Capcom, like, please. But I really want to see how it works in this game, and I'm quite excited to see that. I'm just really excited for the weapon overall, honestly. I feel like I put so much of my thoughts throughout this episode, so maybe I don't have too much to talk about at the end. But I just agree that Capcom have finally hit probably the peak of where they wanted to be with this weapon, because this weapon's had issues all over the place. You know, coming into the late parts of the games, shots and shells just don't feel as impactful because they don't scale with any of your skills. So at the end of the game, you're stacking up all these abilities, you're hitting weak spots, they're not getting buffed up, your attacks are getting buffed up. It pretty much feels like you might as well use a lance at that moment. What's the point shelling? There is no point shelling. Now it feels like shelling is going to be a more impactful part of the weapon, which is great. The weapon needs to be balanced, right? You need to be able to use shots and use your lance in conjunction. And I love long style because long style is like that. You use your shelling, but you also stab at the same time. Now with wide, it's not going to be the case. I'm going to be shooting much more, and I'm excited for that too. And I just like using different styles of weapons for different reasons, and Gunlance allowed it one of the most because it had 3 different shot styles to use. I don't know if they're going to add a new one. I would love if they added a new one, but I guess we have to wait and see on that one. But overall, love it. So far, I think Gunlance is the S-class weapon of the game. If I was going to rate the Gunlance, I'd give it like a 10 out of 10. Pretty much. Like, the only issue, like I said, my only complaint is the sharpness thing. I think you should use sharpness when you're shooting. I think it just makes sense for balance, but you know, if that's what it is, fine. Maybe for me, just me personally, that's what stops it for me 10 out of 10 and gives it like a maybe 9.5, 9.8, maybe. No, actually, no, I'll probably give it a 9.5 because the focus strike is a bit weird too. Even though I like how it looks and I like how it works, it's just kind of impractical sometimes. But yeah, guys, that's it for me. Let me know what you think down below, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.